Yo, what is good, guys? I hope you all had a fantastic weekend as well as a fantastic trading week last week. For those of you out in Florida, praying for you guys. Hope you have a successful recovery. Had a few friends out there. It's a little scary. So, as for me, last week I had a lot of midterms. Very long week for me. I probably bombed my accounting final, but not much I can do about that. So, anyways, we're gonna get into the video. I have a lot of stuff to show you guys. I'm very excited to show you what I have. So, I really recommend watching this whole thing through. There's a lot of money to be made, especially this week and the following week. So, with all that being said, we're just going to get right into it. Make sure to show the video some love, give it a like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. So, to start off, Bitcoin. Not too much to say here. I want to keep this video relatively short, so I'm going to try and get through everything. Tell you everything you need to know, nothing more than that. So, Bitcoin, you're still in this wedge. It's been holding up really well. SPY's been pushing down, while Bitcoin has stayed relatively flat and it's still in this wedge. So very interesting. Because it's been doing this, I think the odds of breaking out of this to the upside are relatively high. I think it's decent. You could push back into the 20,000s, which would also correlate with SPY moving up as well, getting a nice bounce, bear market squeeze. So that's it for Bitcoin. Not too much else to say really. Just waiting on that top trend line, see if it breaks. So oil, this is setting up. Big following wedge here. You're not going to want to miss out on this kind of move, because this has been setting up this kind of move for a long time. So this could actually produce a gigantic reversal here. We almost got it on this move. It was not as big as I wanted it to. So it's kind of redoing it, resetting that same setup. So keep an eye on oil. This is a falling wedge. My favorite pattern, incredibly consistent. Consider keeping an eye on oil. I do think it could run up pretty decent. So, DXY. This is going to have kind of a spotlight in this video with the correlation to GLD gold. That's another thing I'm going to be stressing. A lot of money to be made on that, I think. We've been talking about it in the Discord for a while, or a couple days, because we see something big on there. Join the Discord. I promise you will not regret it. If I'm not on YouTube, I'm in the Discord. So, join the Discord. That's going to be linked in the description. So, DXY. Where have you been getting rejected from right now? This massive trend line here that goes back for quite a few months here, actually quite a few years actually. Wow. So yeah, wow. I misinterpreted the length of how long this has been intact for, but that's where you got rejected from. Pretty nasty rejection here. So you could see more downside on DXY. It's going to have a big correlation with gold, which I'm going to explain to you. So you're not going to want to miss that. I'm going to zoom in a little so you can kind of see what's been happening in the short term. You had that rising wedge, which is bearish, but you managed to break out to the upside, which was astonishing, as well as even breaking another resistance, going even higher. So this was insane. An insane rally, which put a lot of pain on the market. So you're going to see that tie up with SPY and GLD. So Apple, kind of interesting here. So this has been playing out really well lately. So this is from a few months ago, mid-August basically. So we hit that top trend line and I was like, this thing's going to get annihilated. And so far that's what's been happening. I'm going to take this off. Yeah, you got your rejection from that top area, fill that gap, and you've still been moving down. So everything's intact, still going according to plan. Yeah, nothing new. So Tesla's very messy. It's been really just kind of unpredictable. I mean, if you're playing like horizontal levels, supply and demand, resistance, support, it's probably not as hard, but I like to predict those really big moves, like 10-20% moves on these massive names. So in this case, it's very hard to predict where this next move wants to go. Like, it should be down. I've been looking for this gap to get filled. This is also something we're watching in the Discord for an opportunity when it gets down there. So join the Discord so you can be a part of that. But so far, it seems like it's breaking down out of this pattern. These two lines right here. But this thing has been swinging up and down so hard lately. It's hard to say. I would look to see what it does for Monday and Tuesday, probably see what it does for this line. But Tesla overall very volatile. So not too much to say. It's under that trend line. Make what you want of that. So Biotech, not too much to say. Just kind of waiting on the setup. You don't have to force these trades. Just let the setups and opportunities come to you. So SOX, this thing has been going absolutely insane. You know, in the Discord, we're buying in the 30s. We sold out a little early in the 40s, which is unfortunate. We're in this rising wedge here, which resulted in that move. I had that minimum price target of 54 because of these retraces with the fibs. Has something to do with falling wedges, so that's where this move came from. But it's been going insane, unbelievable. Missed out on quite a bit of money, but I did make a good amount of money from this move. So I do think this thing is gonna reverse maybe a little bit before going higher, but the inverse of it, SUXL. In the coming months, this thing is going to provide an opportunity to make a lot of money. Several 100% on shares, much more on options. So I'm watching this over the coming months. I do not think it's really time yet, but I do have an eye on this. So VIX, been going up for a while. You know, I said back in August, I think, August through September, I was like, the third week of August, I believe I said, is when VIX should be bottoming based on cyclicals. And that's what's been happening. It bottomed in pretty much the third week of August. Yeah, close enough. So you broke this trend line right here, this one, and you're pushing up against these horizontal resistances, which really are these last resistances before, you know, you get these massive spikes, which result in just maxed out fear in the markets. Everyone's scared, everyone's selling everything they have, and that's when you buy. You buy into the fear. So the market is coming close to a major bottom. It might not be the bottom, but you're going to see a gigantic bounce that's probably going to last a while, I think, going into the end of the year. So VIX, not too sure what to say here. You got a little gap down here, which you can see on the lower time frames. Got a tiny gap right there. This was a pretty big supply zone. You were getting rejected, but you held up. You kept staying higher and higher, and then you finally broke through, gapped up, and you just went for the moon, mid-30s. So VIX, I'm not sure what to say here. I guess something to watch, see how it does in the next few days. So I really don't know what it wants to do, maybe cool off a bit, but we'll just have to see for the VIX. So GLD, big opportunities here. So I am very bullish on this because of a few reasons. So first off, I see a very clear 5 waves down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for that 5th wave, it has hit its target, which you draw out with your fib extensions, and you get that from drawing wave 3 to wave 4. You get your target hit. So let me put these back up. And this also fills this gap back here. I'm not sure about this one, but this was a main gap I was looking at. It was a pretty big one. That got filled. You have these lower ones, but I don't think it's going to push down to those yet. It might not ever push down to them, but the point is in a massive falling wedge. Falling wedges, my favorite reversal patterns. It's the same setup as this. You draw your fibs, you get your retrace levels, minimum retrace 0.382. That's setting up right here. So I think this could be moving up to 167, 0.382. That also fills a tiny gap right here. A lot of signs here. And on the daily, you got your MACD crossing, histograms going green, RSI, you got bullish divergences, RSI moving up through its moving average. So there's a lot of reasons this thing is ready to reverse, at least for a little bit. So that retrace would likely be 167. I've been looking at calls on this for November and December. Where is it? Give me a second. So I've been looking at the Greeks, the delta and the gamma, seeing where the best balance between cheap contracts as well as like return, risk management, safety, and definitely November, December. It's just whether or not how much you want to put into these contracts, because if you go for these lower strikes, it's a little more expensive than these ones, but you have a higher delta on these, so every dollar that this goes up, these contracts go up more. So it's really just how much you want to risk or put into these contracts. You can hedge them. Join the Discord. I'm not going to explain it all on here, but I promise you, join the Discord. You will make some money, or at least learn how to make money. I'm not a financial advisor, but I promise you, see for yourself, join the Discord. It's going to be linked down in the description. So back to the charts. we could be looking at 167 soon. So really you would want to be looking for that break of this trend line. But once you get up there, that's already kind of a decent move. So where you're at, you join the Discord. That's where we're talking about it all day, every day. So we're going to be talking about it in the Discord. That's really all. Oh wait, actually, I can't believe I almost forgot this. This is the big thing I was going to stress here. So DXY, when gold goes down, DXY goes up, as you can see. So picture this: if GLD is about to move up, which all signs are pointing to, what would DXY do? US dollar, it would move down. And what happens when DXY goes down? It puts relief on the markets and SPY goes up. So kind of put that all together. Gold goes up, DXY goes down, markets go up. So very interesting here. I would like to see, I would say a week. Give it a week to see what it would really do with this wedge as it goes into the end of this. So on to SPY. A lot of things to say here. First off, I think, so as we all know, we broke the June lows. So it's getting very scary down here, but let me put this up again. I took this off. Give me a second. So this is a really big spot because you're pushing into this volume gap. You're under this volume, really big volume node, and you're sitting at, or maybe it was this line actually. Yeah, this line. This is really where it ends. So right now you're sitting at this one. This is a smaller one where you should be finding some demand here. And you were actually able to see some of that on Friday. There was a lot of absorption happening into the end of the day. And also a lot of puts expiring. It's a little complicated. I'm not going to get into that. But the point is you're pushing into this volume pocket. That's pretty scary. You're under this June low, but you also you're going to see everything else I'm going to show you. So futures, you can drop here. Feeling this falling wedge, I'm going to draw this a little differently. So this is where I would be looking for this to bounce. You know, later on in the video, we're going to come back to this, see how it reacts with that falling wedge line. So what I want to start off with is Y channel. So yeah, Y channel here. You had a pretty big trend line here, as you can see. So yes, I cut out this area of price action, which might be a little confusing. Maybe right like this line here, line it up with these touch points. But the point is here, you can see a lot of reactions here. You got all these candles closing right on top of it. You get your wicks, wick through it, rejections. So this seems like a pretty significant trend line to me that you right on top of right now. So we're going to see how it reacts with this on Monday. The bearish picture would be closing underneath this. That happened back here. This is actually where I bought. This was a falling wedge. I made a ton of money on this move, buying the few. Yeah, you got your close underneath it, but I still bought down here. And what happened after that, you got your gigantic reversal, because this was ultimately a falling wedge, which is my favorite pattern to trade. So A, B, C, D, E, and you get your reversal. So anyways, we're on the daily, so we're going to look at the RSI. You have a very tiny bullish divergence here. You oversold, so that's a pretty big thing to consider. Daily MACD, you're sitting on pretty much the low here. This is pretty big. So this kind of works differently than like the charts with the supports and resistances, but this is something I like to trade on the 30-minute. When the MACD gets up to 3.3 to 3.4, you pretty much will reverse. As you can see here, you find resistance up here, you reverse every single time. Same thing right here. This is just a lower extreme that you reverse from a lot. So we also went long here because we hit a pretty decent support zone that you can see all these reactions. So on the daily, this is kind of like, there's not really any lower than this besides that COVID low, which was an instantaneous drop, massive drop as we all know. So special scenario, but this, you're kind of pushing these lows here. So something to consider, daily ADX, you pushing towards that negative DI, which if this negative DI happens to cross through the ADX, you would see that bearish momentum completely fall off a cliff, and you would inevitably get that bounce you're looking for. And got all these little gaps up here, which I think I might show you right now. Yeah, so one last thing, I pointed out, okay, can I click on this? Okay, so you got a daily divergence on the MACD here, so, sorry, not on the daily, on the hourly. So just something I want to stress here, you got some decent divergences here. So it seems like on the MACD, yeah, you still have them. you definitely still have these. So something to consider. You got big divergences. So back to the daily. We're going to take a look at pivot points, the sequence counts, and yeah, we're just going to do that right now. So this stuff might be a little in the way, so I'm going to take it off here so that we can really see it. So first off, we're going to look at, give me a second here. So you have the sequence count right here. You sitting under a 9 count, pushing a 13 count. The last time this has happened was in 2008 and 2001. So I don't want to waste too much time on this, but I do think it's relevant enough to show you guys. You got your 9 count here, and you kept pushing underneath it. So that happened after you broke these pretty significant bottoms here. This recent low, you broke through it, kept selling, and then again over here, same thing happened, as well as a little bit over here. But that was 2008, financial crisis, global crisis. So that was very, I guess, reasonable. So the last time before that was 2001, only a couple days that happened. So this has only happened like a couple times in the history of the SPY ETF. So that's where you're sitting at right now. Pushing underneath that 9, you went underneath this recent low. So it's somewhat that same scenario. You know, maxed out fear. The rubber band could snap. Odds are against it. You're sitting on this last support, really, especially this last short-term support, which you're going to see on ES futures, which we're going to talk about soon. But right now, we're just going to look at the pivot points. So this was pretty relevant where you were getting your breakdowns from. So the S2 on the daily pivot right here, you gapped underneath it, found resistance. So that was very relevant here, as well as the S1. This is where I think we will not get past on the bounce. Right here, so S1. Yeah, you'll see me explain that a little bit. And the VPOC, you got a virgin point of control sitting at 365 or 375, which you have a gap up here. So a lot of incentive to bounce here. Got a lot of incentive. Got like a 13 count. What else? You got your virgin point of control to the upside. You have no more to the downside. You know, that's where let me take off these pivot points. They're really kind of messing up the chart here. So when we're back up here, I was like, look at all of these virgin points of control. These are going to get tested. And what happened? Everyone was like, oh my God, the bottom might actually be in. The market crash might be over. And I was like, this thing is going to die. Like, go look at the thumbnails. I explicitly said, like, time is up. We're going into oblivion soon. And you have done nothing but fall since then. So testing these lows, you have VPOCs only to the upside. So very interesting. I don't think we're going to be seeing the 400s for a while. But point is, you got these VPOCs sitting in the 370s, where I do think it's pretty likely we will go once we find this bottom, which I'm going to explain in a couple of minutes. So we're going to zoom out quick. I'm going to show you these moving averages. We're sitting at very big support here. Let me take this off quick. So let me put this up. The weekly 200-day moving average, we're sitting right on that. Same with the NASDAQ. Sitting right on it, you actually closed below it. So you really do need to see a tweezer bottom, like an instant bounce next week. A big bounce, a big squeeze, because if you don't, it gets really scary. The demand zones, I probably shouldn't have deleted that. But if you remember, the demand zones were 350, this is one of them, 350, and then ultimately 340. So I don't think you can, it's hard to say. We haven't experienced this scenario very often with the, I forget the word I'm looking for. What I'm trying to say is the only time this has happened was like 2008, 2001. So it's very hard to navigate this just because you haven't really experienced this too much before. So sitting on massive moving averages here, you bounced off of it every time. So not every time, I mean the times you fell through it, but it's a big area here. I'm looking at one final bounce before you push to 340, 320. Those have been my targets for a very long time. I've mentioned that in all of my previous videos. So I'm looking at a bounce before the lows, but yeah, it's holding up so well. You got a little bounce. Anyways, we're going to go back into the short term. I'm just pointing this out. We're sitting at very, very, very relevant moving averages. So I think we're ready to go into the shorter term. Give me a second here, let me make sure I have everything. So sequence count, the VPOCs, yeah, so we're going to go into the 4 hour now. Let me take this off. And right now, we're going to take a look at the Bollinger Bands and the Keltner channel. So this is something I like to look at. I incorporate these into my videos a lot. So when the yellow lines are inside of the blue lines, the Bollinger Bands are inside of the Keltner channel. That's signaling tightening volatility, and a massive breakout is coming, especially when it's happening on the higher time frames. We traded this on the 30-minute. I told you, like, we're going to break out tomorrow or the day after. And that happens. You see, you tighten up, you get your breakout. You tighten up, you get a big breakout. So you're seeing that on the 2 hour now. You're going to get a very big breakout soon. The last time that happened was back here. What do you know? You got a huge move. So it's very relevant. It's tightening up. You're about to get another big move, which odds are to the upside, but it is pretty scary. So I'm going to take a look at a few more things, and I'm going to show you what I've been doing and positioning myself this past week. Just how we've been making money, especially in the Discord, how we've all been making money. Actually, I'm just going to do that right now. So kind of just show you what's been happening. All week we've been range bound, so pretty much consolidating. I think we're in a wedge right now, as you can see, kind of drawn out. But anyways, so you can see we've just been swinging back and forth all week. So in the Discord, I believe we went short. I think we were shorting here, and we closed it on this day. We went long the next morning. We rode it all the way up. So this is where the real money was made. We went long this morning in calls, rode it all the way up, sold those here, and I went very heavy and short. Held it even past this drop in the bounce. I closed it here for 220%, and then I went long. I closed it the next day up here, and I actually went short again, closed all of those shorts down right at the end of the day, and went long. So it was a little risky, but I did not go heavy. I'm averaging in, so I made plenty of money that last week. Do not really worry about if we gap down, to where I'm like, oh no, like I'm right on these long positions. I was not heavy at all. I'm averaging in, so we'll see how Monday opens. I think that's going to be a pretty kind of important, I guess, indicator for how the rest of the week's going to go. But anyways, back to the charts. I showed you the Bollinger Band, the Keltner channels. Yeah, so we're going to go into ES now, and we're going to take a look at what kind of happened. So yeah, so far you get that bounce off of that trend line. That's pretty big here. You know, we could be going green by open tomorrow morning. So anyways, what do you have here? This could be the end of this third wave before you get into your fourth wave. And the fourth wave is going to destroy a lot of people. You do not want to be on the wrong side of this. This is why you want to be educated, and like you really want to be prepared, setting up your plans before the next moves happen. So you get your wave 4 and then your wave 5, which would go into the low 300s on SPY, and of course ES to low 3000s. So it's setting up. The fear is really maxing out here, but it's looking like it's gonna reverse soon. If it breaks through, I really don't know what to tell you. You're gonna want to be looking at those demand zones, but if we break down, I really don't know what's gonna happen, just because it's kind of an odd scenario where it's never happened before in the case of 2008. So I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think we're ready. It might be even just a slow bleed, especially this last move down. This last move down, though, if we get this bounce, it's over. There's not gonna be some kind of like fake out, a bear trap. You're just gonna plummet. You're going to plummet with no mercy to the bulls. So I think we're almost done here. We're gonna take a look at the short-term trend lines, which you can kind of see right here, that are being respected right now. So yeah, especially this, I think this is the biggest trend line right here, because this is really the last support. I mean, they're like long-term supports or whatever, but this is, you know, maybe this is the bottom. Maybe we just bottomed. I'm not sure, but the point is, you're in this falling channel. You got all of those divergences. I showed you everything. I really showed you everything. So the bullish case where we would be bouncing to, we're going to go back. So assuming we've bottomed, we're going to go back onto SPY. We'll go to the 15-minute. Let's clean this up a little. So this is the last thing I have before I end the video. These are the gaps. This has a lot of incentive to get filled. You also have the virgin point of control. So 375 is where you would be going on the bounce. And this white line, you would not pass this. You cannot get past that white line because this bounce would be wave 4. Wave 4 can only go 50%. So let me show you. You find your retrace levels by drawing this out. 50%. Actually, okay, I might have lied a little there. So this will be a massive resistance is my point. Massive resistance, just as you can see from a glance here. Yeah, so that's a big area we'd want to be watching. I think that's like 383. So big level here, you got that gap. Oh wait, sorry. Okay, scratch everything I was saying. I was right. Yeah, I was like, it's not lining up with my past. Like, I've been looking at this a while, so yes, I was right. That is the big area, 50% of wave 3. So I was kind of confused on the time scale I was looking at. So wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 4 cannot go past 50%, which is right here. 50%. So assuming we've bottomed, 50% is right here, along with that white line. So right in that range is where I would not be going long. If we get up there, you don't want to be going long, or you'd want to be very cautious of doing that. I wouldn't recommend it. So not too much else I have to say. To the downside, I don't know how much lower you can go. So join the Discord. We're tracking out all the Elliott wave theory in there, showing you all the levels. We really don't. We make a lot of money in there. See for yourself. So this is kind of hard to say. 350 is that next big demand zone, mid 350s. So I made plenty of money on the way down. So I'm just kind of waiting to see where this thing bottoms out. I don't want to short down here. I'm not comfortable shorting down here. There's too many people shorting, and I do not want to be part of the squeeze that's coming. So I think that's where I'm going to leave this video. I told you everything. I really told you everything that I wanted to tell you. Plenty of stuff to go off of for the next week. So that's where I'm going to leave this video. If you watched the whole thing through, make sure to show it some love. Give it a like and subscribe, and join the Discord. I really, really do recommend it. Join the Discord. That will be linked down in the description. And yeah, that's what I'm going to leave. So peace out, guys.